Hi friends, and welcome to the next video. It's jazz hours o'clock, real late at night here. and I've been reviewing some questions that I get from folks wanting to learn drums. And one of the questions is very interesting. What should I concentrate on? So with the massive amount of information out there, on YouTube and etc., which is unfortunately 90% not great, you have to dig through a lot of material to sort of weed out the bad stuff. Now, let me just save you a lot of time. What you have to do is concentrate on the acquisition of highly marketable skills. Okay? What does that mean? Time, groove, musicality. All right. All the other stuff is periphery. A million ways to do paradiddles between the floor tom and the bass drum. I mean, who uses that? Apart from, Instagram videos to try to impress whoever, that stuff is almost pointless. Because, why? Because if you notice what the top pros do, it's not that. It's more than anything the use of rhythm to evolve vocabulary. It's the use of musical structure to aim at tension points, tension and release, okay? It's groove. Now, groove in the sense of, groove is not about keeping a steady beat, okay? I have another video that you should watch about what groove is. It's a pretty deep thing, so I don't want to get into it again. But the ability to do that is a highly marketable skill. Don't waste your time with things in the periphery that these little guys try to push on you to get views on their YouTube channel or to try to get, whatever, students, kids and stuff like that. That is not marketable. Okay? You need to concentrate, of course, on the tried and true material, right? But you need to find a way to acquire the things you need in the most efficient way possible and with people who have a lot of experience. If somebody's never done a gig and all they have is videos online, don't waste your time. Okay? It is a complete waste of time. It's like listening to the relationship guru who's 17 years old, right? It's basically the same thing. Someone with no experience on gigs, like on a big level, is not going to know what you need to know to function in music. Okay? So, now, one of the examples I can give you is in obtaining groove. One of my students, well, actually many of my students had this problem. Even back in the PIT days, I would see it all the time. Is that, let's say, okay, since this is a style that's very common and very used, let's take funk, okay? Now, funk or rock, anything 8th note based, 16th note based. One of the things that was very common that nobody talks about is how people subdivide in their body while playing drums. One of the biggest mistakes you can make is doing this. If you're playing 8th notes, okay? Bouncing up and down like that. Not having your legs moving, only heel down and playing everything like static on the bottom while bouncing up and down like this. Okay? That is something nobody talks about, for example, and something that puts the brakes big time on your groove. It's like driving your car in first gear with the handbrake on uphill. okay? You need to flow in your body. Another thing is the static limb syndrome, like having your feet just static, only playing the beats, right? You have to have your feet moving the whole time. If you see any great drummer, Steve Gadd, Keith Carlock, you know, the feet are always moving, the whole body is moving. So there's a great dance element to drumming. No, who talks about this? Nobody talks about this. Why? Is because most people don't have experience teaching, okay? After seeing thousands of players all over the world with similar problems, you start to develop an eye for things that really matter, okay? Now, it's very interesting when you start to operate on this level because you start to notice that the skills that one needs are not those being pushed on popular, you know, drumming culture. It's all this periphery stuff to sell you books or sell you whatever. And, you know, a lot of the times you see the guys pushing that stuff, they couldn't play their way out of a paper bag, unfortunately. And, you know, that's why I insist you have to find teachers with experience, okay, with playing and teaching experience. Of course, everybody knows the cliche. Some guys are great teachers, can't play. Sometimes you have great players that can't teach. But there are guys that do both things really well. Seek them out and do your best to learn from them, okay? Learn the secrets of the trade, the skills of the trade, highly marketable skills, not things on the periphery, okay? 15 million ways to do paradiddles is not gonna get you where you want to be musically, as opposed to understanding how to phrase from point A to point B in a song using a lot of different release points, okay? There's a great book by Bob Moses. I don't know if you guys know Bob Moses, but that was one of the first books I read about tension and release, and that's a really good book. So I've developed my whole system, you know, after teaching thousands and thousands of students all over the world because of the great teachers that I ran into before. Of course, you know, I put more things on top of that because I probably, you know, I've been lucky enough to travel constantly for the last 20 years and do many festivals, teaching at universities and stuff like in different areas of the world with, you know, great drumming cultures. So that gives you a whole other perspective, you know. Now, if you want to get to a place where you play professionally in the least amount of time, of course, there are no shortcuts, but there's ways to do it efficiently and that is not a torture, okay? In the old days, you'd play along to records and hope for the best, right? But now, my play-along system, working the inner clock, for example, all the songs are designed specifically to accomplish goals, okay? There are songs, but there are exercises inside of the songs. So this kind of thing doubles your productivity when you're practicing. Everything I give for people to work on covers various areas at once. Of course, there's things that you have to concentrate one level at a time. But once you reach a certain point, in order to gain momentum at a faster rate, you need to practice things that can be stacked, okay? Stacked in importance and stacked in relevance. For example, if you have a practice routine that's 5 minutes double bass drum and then play with a song by Christina Aguilera and then do left hand exercises, that is complete chaos, all right? And gets you nowhere fast. You need to know how to practice. And once you realize how the body learns, how the mind adapts your body to learning methods, then you can increase your effective practice time. I mean, it's incredible how much you can increase it. You can be very, very efficient without it having to be a torture, okay? Another thing is controlling your mind. There are ways to control your mind and to reward yourself in increments, all right? That's all in my practice system, okay? So how do you develop this with a guy that's never done any gigs? You just can't, all right? How do you develop it with a guy that's never taught anyone at a high level and for years and seen what's going on in different parts? You know, you just can't. You have to find highly marketable drumming skills, find someone who knows what they're talking about, and concentrate on those things. All right? Now, I think if you go to any top university, it's probable that they're going to guide you in the right way. But do you have like $70,000 a year to do that? I don't know. I don't know if you do. Maybe you do. Great. At this point, I think those universities, those colleges, super expensive, places, are great more for connections than anything else. Because you have an outlet like my lesson site. It has everything that I taught at Drummers Collective, at PIT, at universities. I had that all in my head, plus everything that I learned in India, in South America. There's almost no comparison, okay? So I would urge you to think about what you're doing when you want to learn drums. You have to have, first of all, somebody on your side that's really on your side and not just milking you for money, okay? Then you have to have an efficient system, a practice system that is top of the line, ultra modern and ultra, let's say, efficient, all right? You have to have that, absolutely. Then you have to have top-notch information, okay? Not from someone who doesn't know what they're talking about, okay? It's one of the biggest problems in the drumming community, I think, that this overflow of, let's say, I don't want to say amateur guys, because that's a good word, amateur, actually. Let's say just guys that shouldn't be teachers, period. One of my philosophies is don't teach, go play. Until you have a good, solid background in playing gigs and being out there, being on the road, knowing what works in music, don't teach. You're just doing yourself a disservice and your fellow drummers. Okay, I did a whole video about that too. Learn with the most modern learning techniques and keep focused on marketable drumming skills. Marketable drumming skills, very important on every finger. I can't tell you how important that is in every aspect of drumming. Marketable skills, Afro-Cuban, marketable. What's marketable? What makes you be able to play in music? What do musicians care about? No musicians care if you can do double bass drum, 30-second notes at 200 BPM and twirl your sticks at the same time while eating a sandwich and blow drying your hair. Nobody cares. They want to hear music. When you go to play with a band, they want to hear that you are a musician. The number one marketable skill is being a musician. And that entails a lot more than peripheral information you'll find here and there by just, gathering tidbits one at a time, all right? You have to have a focused way, all right? Okay, so I hope that helps you, and I hope that it helps you organize your mind and how to approach drumming, because it is a true monster. It is something that takes a lifetime and that has so many paths and ways that you need to know. You need to tame that beast, all right? I hope this has helped you get your mind around that. Now, once again, We have super thanks here in the channel. I appreciate everyone that contributes on super thanks. And we have my lesson site, one of the most innovative curriculums in the world, based on everything I know after decades of teaching experience everywhere. Okay, I hope you'll join us. Only $200 gets you in the full year program with full support by me, email, video, and whatever social media platforms you use. Okay, I hope you'll consider it. See you online. Peace.